Welcome to Mount Lebanon High School. Thank you for joining us this evening for tonight's Cum Laude ceremony for the class of 2021. Our program will now begin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 60th Annual Mount Lebanon High School Chapter of the Cum Laude Society Recognition Ceremony. My name is Catherine Wilkeson, and I am representing the class of 2021. The Cum Laude Society is a national organization seeking to acknowledge superior scholarship at the high school level. In a few moments, 68 members of the senior class will be recognized for their superlative academic achievement. Before the recognition, you will hear from 4 students who will share their thoughts on the 4 areas that represent the ideals of the Cum Laude Society: excellence, justice, honor, and truth. These words carry with them far more than the literal translation suggests. The word excellence is not limited to the ideal of superiority in scholarship, but in other areas as well. The word justice includes the concept of what is suitable and appropriate, as well as what is just. The word honor includes the concept of dignity and true worth, as well as honor. The word truth includes the concept of sincerity and honesty. Now I'd like to introduce Avery Tandon, who will give us an overview of Cum Laude.
In 1906, Dr. Abram W. Harris, director of the Tome School, Maryland, determined that scholastic achievement of students in secondary schools should be accorded as much recognition as that given to other accomplishments. He envisioned a society modeled after the collegiate Phi Beta Kappa, which is one of the highest academic honors achieved by a college or university student. This society would likewise encourage and recognize true scholarship. Since Dr. Harris and his associates believed that chapters should be established only in schools of superior academic quality, the group moved slowly in granting new chapters. By December 1908, chapters had been granted to Tome, Phillips Exeter, Phillips Academy, Evanston, Penn Charter, Centenary Collegiate, and Berkeley Polytechnic, all schools for boys. In 1962, Mount Lebanon High School was granted a chapter for the establishment of a Cum Laude chapter in District 3 of the 8 national districts. At the time, Mount Lebanon was the 10th public school to be granted a chapter. Of the 353 chapters in the United States, 327 exist in private schools. Only 26 exist in public schools, Mount Lebanon being one of the 26. Mount Lebanon is the only public high school in Pennsylvania to be granted a chapter. During the Society's existence, there have been no deviations from the original objective of the founder, namely, the recognition of superior scholarship. As mentioned, 4 key words that represent the Cum Laude Society are excellence, justice, honor, and truth. Here to discuss excellence is Jeremiah Sablack.
I was talking to my grandparents one day about a man who lives in the farmhouse next door to them. They told me he lived there his whole life, never got married, never had kids, never went to college, never traveled the world. Throughout all his life, he chose to stay in this little house in this little town in the middle of nowhere. It didn't make much sense to me. How could he settle for so little in a world so big and full of unlimited opportunity? I could never imagine the appeal. But this man, they told me, despite all this, was happy. And of course, I was not quick to believe this, because everything in my mind told me that he was wrong. But the more I thought about how that man chose to spend his 80 years on planet Earth, the more I began to think about my own life and question why we do things the way that we do. What is excellence? Excellence is what keeps us up at night and motivates us to get up every morning. We're all here today because we have endured what it takes to achieve academic excellence, and we love to succeed. Every year, it seems that the bar of excellence rises higher and higher, driving students down their conditioned path to success, as we are assured that good grades and high test scores are what determine our worth. It seems that in a culture so infatuated with success, excellence is often mistaken for fulfillment. But studies show that after a certain point, wealth and profession cause no greater level of satisfaction or happiness among people, and even trends in the opposite direction in some cases. It's the need for more and more excellence that leaves us eternally unsatisfied with our position in life. It dawned on me that I'd been so busy chasing excellence that I forgot what it's all for. Yeah, you get excellent grades, get into an excellent college, and get an excellent job, but nowhere in that path is happiness even mentioned. So yeah, maybe I would be miserable waking up in a cornfield every day, but to that man my grandparents told me about, that life is truly excellent. As cliche as it sounds, it's not about having what you want. It's about wanting what you have. It's not about searching for excellence in the world. It's about finding it within yourself and sharing it with the world. I encourage all of us here today to look beyond the extrinsic goals formed in our minds since we first stepped in school, and look within to find what's truly excellent. So, go build a robot. Go write a book. Go climb a mountain. Go strive to be the very best that you can be. But at the root of your excellence, have a love for what you do, where you are, and who you are. Next to discuss justice is Benjamin Brown.
I am in an extremely unique position, being able to talk to some particularly talented folks in this room. For the past 4 years, everyone here has worked hard to surpass what is expected and required of them. And while all of us have worked hard, we cannot lose sight of the advantages that we have. Mount Lebanon is a school district which grants massive opportunities to its students through great classes, clubs, support staff, you name it. You got to Mount Lebanon High School, for the most part, at the whims of luck. You happened to be born here or to a family that would eventually move here. That's really the only assumption I can make about all the students in this room, but past that, everyone here has their own different advantages. Not to say that everyone here was given a perfect life, that is far from the truth, but more that we have a lot of privileges in Mount Lebanon that other communities do not. I know almost everyone in this room, and that many of us will go on to achieve great things. Now, when I say great things, you might imagine yourself with a great job, living in a great house with your spouse and kids. While these aspects of your future are certainly important, when I say great things, I do not mean this. To me, and I think to all of us, the goal should be to live just lives. Justice is not defined by putting away the bad guy or getting a trophy for a good deed. If we pat ourselves on the back during our discussion about justice, even during our induction to Cum Laude, we are not truly living it. Meaningful justice is defined within the framework of empathy. I would call it restorative justice. Restorative justice is not necessarily easy to look at or to achieve. At the root of our actions, we must determine how they affect others and how we have achieved the positions that we have. We must remember those advantages in order to not get caught up in our own affairs so much that we forget to understand and share the feelings of those around us. The privileges we experience in Mount Lebanon are obviously not widespread. One of the greatest injustices of our society is how varying education quality is by location, a seemingly random factor based on where one is born. I don't think anyone here would make the argument against everyone deserving the level of education that we've received. While we have worked hard to achieve academic excellence, we've been afforded the opportunity to do so at random. A perfect example of living a just life would be understanding this privilege we experience and listening to adversely affected communities and their needs, helping them through understanding and empathy. It is immoral to think and act on the notion that we have grabbed our own destiny solely. This school of thought will end up hurting us in the end. It's isolating and lonely. But we are all singular people. I would be extremely surprised and elated if any one of us ever achieved enough influence to make a significant positive change to any major issue this close to us. It is actually extremely important to not try and fix a large societal issue solely. Usually, those who do are looked upon unfavorably by history. That attitude often leads to ignorance and self-absorption. To live a just life, you do not need to make a staggeringly large impact. You have to make a personal impact, even if it is small, like having a conversation about privilege. You will be doing justice. As long as you are empathetic and listen to those around you, you will be doing justice, your own justice. As our high school careers come to a close, consider what has meant the most to you. What have you learned that has affected your worldview? Not non sequitur information like the Pythagorean theorem or how to write a synthesis essay, but how you treat people. The great challenger towards living a just life is not passivity, it's pseudo-activity. The urge to be active, participate, and mask nothingness in a non-meaningful way. In each action you make, analyze if it is in the spirit of empathy. At the center of justice is empathy, and it should be the most important lesson you learn not only in high school, but throughout your whole life. In the next chapter of your life, spend more time listening to others. Do those around you and yourself justice. Here to discuss honor is Susie Huang.
Standing up here tonight as an Asian American, I can confidently say that I have heard the word honor a few too many times throughout the 17 years of my life, to the point where this word has simply lost its intended meaning. Honor, to me, is merely another word that means make so-and-so proud. I've grown tired of hearing that word, yet tonight I am here giving a speech about it. Ever since I knew how to comprehend the spoken language, I was practically brainwashed and programmed to believe that achieving honor means getting good grades in school, receiving all kinds of awards, and winning competitions. All the stuff that we should be able to accomplish if we are honorable students. This definition of honor is what we are most accustomed to, but this definition is not mine. Honor isn't about the good grades in challenging courses, or the praises, or the awards, or the trophies. Although from time to time, those proofs of accomplishment are wonderful to have, it should not dictate us as individuals. Every student has achieved academic honor in some way, shape, or form, regardless of whether or not we were given a piece of paper that said so. We are a class of students who are willing to take up challenges, say no when our morals are violated, and be the active listeners, observers, and performers in our society. So do what makes you proud, what draws a smile across your face rather than orienting your life based on what you're told to do, because achieving honor should start within us, by establishing our beliefs and morals and giving ourselves room to be us. Honor is about how we choose to tackle our challenges, go about our days, and build our journeys to our destinations. Because we're all individuals, it is valuable to learn how to honor ourselves for the hard work we've put into our activities, the sleepless nights we've pulled, and the perseverance and responsibility we've demonstrated. Take time to recognize potential you have and put that potential into action, but never forget to give yourself credit for the work you do. Even if it wasn't the greatest accomplishment, it will always be our best effort. But there is still more. Honor is having the ability to look into the future with ambition and vigor, and to show the world, or simply the people around you, that we are capable of so much more than just honorable titles. Honor includes how we cherish family members, friends, teachers, and the bonds we have formed, because without appreciating these significant aspects of our lives, we will not be able to define our personal honor. We should honor our loving parents who have always been there for us, the mentors who we look up to, and the young activists who we strive to become. Notice what the community has done for us, what our friends have provided us. Appreciate everyone who has made an impact on who you are today, and remember to give back. I believe that as a generation of intellectuals, creators, and change makers, we have reached beyond the limiting word of honor. We will continue to march proudly down the roads that take us to our futures, or venture confidently through the mazes that still lead to uncertainty. But because we stay true to ourselves, we will reach our destination with our own unique flair, lighting up our path and guiding us along the way. Our society changes rapidly, as does the interpretation of honor, so let us define honor for ourselves, one that is meaningful and true to us as we all turn the page and embark on the next chapter of our lives. Here to discuss truth is Benjamin Rabkin.
In light of our context tonight, I wanted to take a look at truth and education, because we often think of them as the same thing. We study with the hope of furthering our knowledge, whether that's been from a mathematical, philosophical, historical, or any number of perspectives, and we engage in these practices rigorously. From the age of 5, we walk this path, learning to strive for enlightenment, slowly arming ourselves with the tools and techniques to find truth in life. It's the expectation not only of Americans, but of nearly every developed nation on earth. Yet, we seldom take a moment to step back and ask why. I remember in one of my classes, while finding the root to some forgotten function, this question came to mind. Why do we care for this curriculum? I don't mean that with vitriol, but truly, why do we need to know these facts? Some aspects of the curriculum are self-evident, of course. Without basic knowledge of math, financial security is an unattainable goal. Or sans knowledge of our government, how can we integrate into the system by which we live our lives? But others less so. Why learn of the Burgundians' position in the 100 Years' War? Or how to decompose a composite function? Certainly these might be of use to some, but I have no plans to engage in those careers. Perhaps I overgeneralize, but I feel that many sitting here today who have pushed themselves through the most rigorous of courses have encountered similar questions. I bring this up because, as the year winds down and our high school careers come to a close, many of us are gearing up for another 4 years of college. It's another chapter of our lives, and an exciting one at that. It promises a plethora of new experiences, from friends to study abroads. These coming months and years hold so much for each and every one of us. However, with the give, they also have the take. Another 4 years of not being able to sleep from stress. Another 4 years of feeling inadequate. Another 4 years of struggle. I don't mention this with glee, but because it's the nature, the truth of our upcoming lives. As we begin to narrow our focus and aim for careers, the competition will only increase. We will be pushed, just as in high school, to take the most rigorous routes. For some, that idea is exciting, and to them I encourage you to follow your ambition, take those classes. But for others, I ask you to hesitate in course selection. When I ask why we cherish education, I believe it's because of the incredible advancement in medical ability, the championing of policies to help those in need, or simply books that provide some comfort. We pursue education for the promise of a better tomorrow, and it can be easy to lose sight of that in the rat race of building a transcript. So in these coming years, I ask of us to question whether the challenges of future courses are there to make our lives better, as a vast many will be, and as a vast many have been, or whether we are just spending our efforts, our time, our lives, simply for the grade. I know my speech has tarried on, but I'd like to leave you with Thoreau's words. It's not enough to be industrious, so are the ants. What are you industrious for? At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Joel Thompson, our principal.
Good evening, inductees, parents, friends, and staff. Welcome to the Cum Laude induction ceremony for the class of 2021. My name is Joel Thompson, and I am the principal at Mount Lebanon High School. It is my sincere honor to be here this evening, representing the faculty, staff, and administration, as we recognize the exceptional accomplishments of the inductees. Tonight, we pay tribute to our seniors who have demonstrated outstanding academic achievement as well as the drive and dedication to achieve the lofty standards as outlined in the Cum Laude Credo. As we journey through life, we all have received assistance along the way. I am sure that these young men and women are keenly aware that they probably would not have attained this honor without the encouragement, support, and love of family members and friends. For this, and on behalf of the inductees, I want to thank our families and friends for your support and guidance during these high school years. Additionally, these inductees have benefited from the support, expertise, and wisdom of the faculty and staff at our school. Thank you to our staff for being role models to our students. Your contributions are an essential element of what makes Mount Lebanon High School such a successful educational institution. To our seniors, your induction into Cum Laude tonight is an acknowledgement of the challenges you have overcome and the tremendous talent and skills that you have revealed over the past 4 years. Your hard work and laser focus on academic excellence helped you navigate this global pandemic and continue to excel. I wish you well as you pursue your future endeavors. Our school, the Mount Lebanon community, and frankly, our society is counting on you to continue to be the leaders you have proven yourselves to be. Regardless of the field that you ultimately decide to employ your talents, you are our future leaders. As leaders, remember the 4 qualities that your classmates spoke about this evening: truth, justice, honor, and excellence. Let these qualities be the ones that guide your future. Preserve and extend onto others these qualities. If you do so, the world will be a better place. Again, congratulations. At this time, please allow me to introduce Ms. Elizabeth Schneider, School Counselor.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. At this time, I'm going to share with you the eligibility requirements for student membership into Cum Laude. Within limitations set by the Constitution of the National Society, each chapter determines its eligibility requirements for membership. The following are the minimum requirements for the Mount Lebanon High School chapter. To have a minimum of 31 credits in required college preparatory academic mathematics, history, the social sciences, languages, and English in grades 9, 10, and 11 in the first half of grade 12. To have earned at least a 3.9 weighted quality point average of A's and B's, and no more than 1 C in the subjects on which quality point average is based, according to the National Cum Laude chapter. A school can take up to 20% of its senior class. Since we are limited to no more than 20%, this year a minimum of a 4.9 QPA was needed to gain membership. This is quite impressive. If a late entrant into Mount Lebanon High School, a student must have spent at least the first semester of their senior year in Mount Lebanon High School and must have met the credit and quality point requirements just described during the time spent at Mount Lebanon, as well as previous schools attended in grades 9, 10, and 11. Mr. Thompson, each of the students who will be on stage tonight has met all of the eligibility requirements for membership in the Cum Laude Society. I am proud to recognize this group of scholars. Would each student please come forward as I read your name? The audience should hold their applause until all names are called. Will the first row please stand? Duncan Andrews. Duncan Auer. Daniel Beersdorf. Benjamin Brown. Kelsey Kadia Frankel. Claudia Conti. Anderson Court. Kelly Dam. Zoe Deems. Sarah Dietrich. Paige DiGirolamo. Ava Duchin. Jack Kevin Jubeck. Maria Giarusso. Lauren Greenfield. Garrison Gunther. Owen Hall. Jameson Hartnett. Jack Horrigan. Luke Wren. Shiki Huang. Hope Husak. Gabriella Kale. Caroline Kenny. Maya Legursky. Patrick McKenzie. Sarah Menand. Benjamin Rapkin. Jeremiah Sablak. Gavin Schmidt. Avery Tandon. Catherine Wilkeson. At this time, we will acknowledge the students who are being inducted into the Cum Laude Society in absentia. Abigail Cornelius, Ethan Glass, Sam Harris, Abigail R. Jones, Maya Jones, Nathaniel Walton Kirk, Joshua Moorhead, Charlotte Pryler, Teddy Petco, Aiden Scott Van Dusen, Catherine Maeve Ziegler.
At this time, it is my pleasure to induct the class of 2021 into the Cum Laude Society. Will the inductees now rise and repeat in chorus after me? to continue my pursuit of excellence in scholarship and all other endeavors, to maintain high ideals and standards in all human relationships, to seek after truth, justice, honor, and excellence, and to uphold the status of the Cum Laude Society. I solemnly pledge my deepest devotion. Join me in congratulating Mount Lebanon's newest members of the Cum Laude Society. Our ceremony will now conclude with a few words from Caroline Kenny.
Our induction into the Cum Laude Society is an honor for us all. We have each worked incredibly hard over the past 4 years to get where we are today. Everyone at Lebo pushes each other to be our best, and it is no secret that we are academically competitive with one another. While this friendly competition is at the root of the supportive scholarly community that we are so lucky to have, I think I speak for most of us when I say it has also been stressful and overwhelming at times. As you celebrate today, take a moment to reflect on the obstacles you have navigated throughout these past 4 years. Remember those times when it seemed like every teacher decided to schedule a test on the same day, or the weeks when you had so much homework you only got a few hours of sleep per night. Think about the challenge we are living through right now, perhaps one of the greatest some of us have had to face. Remember those difficulties, because your perseverance, your determination, is what got you through those rough periods to this ceremony today. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Our ability to strive for excellence, even in the face of adversity, will serve us well for the rest of our lives. And while a number on a piece of paper is technically what earned us a spot here today, are we going to let that number define us? Are we going to let numbers define us for the rest of our lives? Or are we going to recognize the sacrifices that come with that number and instead define ourselves based on the work behind it? Are we going to instead define ourselves, most importantly, based on our passion for learning? And while we will continue to strive for the pillar of excellence, we must not sacrifice character as a result. Let us aim to uphold the principles of justice, honor, and truth in our daily lives as well. Let us put the well-being of others and ourselves above that number on a piece of paper. Let us honor our own truth, our own story, above numerical measurements of accomplishment. And above all, let us recognize how we got here today. We certainly did not do it alone. On behalf of all of the students, thank you to all of the wonderful teachers we are so fortunate to have here at Lebo. Every teacher at this school has supported us and helped us grow into the students we are today. And I'm sure that most of us can even think of one or two that have changed our lives. I hope to touch another person's life as much as those teachers have touched mine. Thank you to the guidance counselors and administrators that provided us with the framework and support we needed to be our very best. And I speak for all of the students again when I say thank you to each of the parents and family members for their attendance tonight and their continued support. We realized that we would not be here on this stage tonight without your patience and love. You have always been there for us through challenges and celebrations. You have always been there for us to remind us what is most important at the end of the day. Not the grades we earn, but the people we become. To our teachers, parents, and all who have made us who we are today, thank you for everything. As we conclude the Cum Laude ceremony, please remain seated while the inductees exit to the rear of the auditorium. To avoid gathering, please meet your son or daughter in center court and exit the building using the door closest to your vehicle. Once again, thank you for attending, and congratulations, Lebo.